The red wine glass hit the walnut floor with a sharp crack. Like a heart finally giving way. 22 pairs of eyes snapped to me. Then to him. Harrison Whitaker. Harry, to those who feared him most, stood at the head of that gleaming boardroom table. His bespoke suit hugging his frame like armor forged from old East Coast money. At 68, he was still the picture of unyielding power. The tycoon who'd built Whitaker Global from a garage startup into an AI empire dominating San Francisco's foggy skyline. But that smile of his? It wasn't for me. It was the blade that ended everything. "You're fired, Emma," he said, voice smooth as aged bourbon, but cold enough to frost the Golden Gate view behind him. Effective immediately. The room tilted, just for a second. 7 years. 7 years I'd poured into this place, nights blurring into dawns. Turning my wild ideas on ethical AI into the algorithms that tripled our revenue. The ones that kept algorithms from devouring privacy like candy. I was Chief Innovation Officer. For God's sake, the woman who'd made Whitaker Global not just rich, but righteous in a world of data vampires. And now, this. I glanced at Nathan, my husband of 5 years, standing rigid by his father's side. 35, with that boyish charm that once made me believe in second chances. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Instead, he cleared his throat, voice flat as a glitchy screen. "The divorce papers are on your desk. Emma, it's cleaner this way." Divorce. The word landed soft, but it echoed. My legs trembled as I pushed back from the table. But I stood anyway, stood tall in my tailored black pantsuit, the one I'd worn closing the Tokyo deal last quarter. "Is that all?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt, like I'd rehearsed it in the mirror that morning, while Bella, my 5-year-old firecracker, doodled robots on the fridge with her crayons, asking why Mommy's job made her come home so late. Harry chuckled, low and knowing, like he'd scripted this scene decades ago. "Security will see you out. Don't make a fuss." A fuss, as if my life wasn't already unraveling like a poorly coded loop. But something shifted then, in the hush that followed. A chair scraped, slow, deliberate, then another. I turned, and there was Jade, my assistant, rising first, 28, with that quiet fire in her eyes. The Korean-American hacker who'd become my shadow in more ways than one. Beside her, Marcus, my cousin, 45, the grizzled ex-Marine CFO who'd traded battlefields for balance sheets. One by one, they stood. Lila from legal, her immigrant grit etched in every line of her face. Owen from marketing, fidgeting just a touch too much. 22 of them, not marching to me, but past me, past Harry, toward the door. The last was Jade. She paused at Harry's desk, slipping something small and black onto the polished surface. A USB drive. Innocuous as a forgotten thumbtack. "What's this?" Harry's voice cracked, just a hair, the first fracture in his empire. Jade smiled, soft but sharp. "Everything." The door clicked shut behind her. Harry's face drained to ash. He snatched the drive, fingers trembling now, whispering to himself, "What have you done?" I grabbed my purse, the leather warm from my grip. "I learned from the best," I said quietly, and as I walked out, the weight of Bella's latest drawing in my pocket, a robot mom with wings, reminded me why I'd fight. Not for them, for us. Before we dive deeper into how it all unraveled, drop a comment below. Which city are you tuning in from tonight? We love hearing from our global crew, Seattle Fog or New York Hustle. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Your support lets us spin more of these raw, real-life revenge stories that remind us, sometimes, the undercurrent pulls you under, but it can also lift you to the surface, stronger. That morning started like too many before it, in the Whitaker penthouse that overlooked the bay like a watchful god. Nathan's side of the king-sized bed was cold. As usual, he'd slipped out at dawn for his private trainer, chasing that six-pack abs that never quite fixed what was hollow inside. I lay there, staring up at the crystal chandelier that cost more than my first apartment in the Mission District. Harry had bragged about it at last week's family dinner. Twice, like it was proof of his dominion. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, a text from his assistant. Crisp and corporate. "Board meeting at 9 sharp. Don't disappoint." As if I ever had. In 7 years, I'd never missed a beat. Not even after Bella came along. That tiny miracle from my life before Nathan. When I was just Emma Reyes, scrappy coder with dreams bigger than my student loans. I showered under the rainhead fixture. Steam curling like secrets I couldn't wash away. The house was a museum of marble and minimalism, cool whites. Sharp edges. Everything whispering you're not quite enough. After 5 years of marriage, it still felt borrowed, like I'd married into a dynasty that tolerated me only as long as I shone. I picked the charcoal dress that morning, Harry's favorite for execs. Colors are for interns, he'd say, with that patronizing wink. Down in the kitchen, the espresso machine hummed lonely. Our housekeeper, Rosa, had left a thermos, black as my mood, no cream, the Whitaker way, pure, unadulterated ambition. Good morning, Mrs. Whitaker, came the soft voice from the doorway. It was our driver, Carlos, 50-something, with stories etched in his laugh lines from driving Harry since the dot-com boom. Car's ready. Traffic's a beast today. Always is, I murmured, forcing a smile. The ride to Whitaker Global took 25 minutes down the Embarcadero. Past the ferries slicing the water. Silence wrapped us like fog, no chit-chat. Per the unspoken rules, Carlos knew better. He'd seen too many family members ghosted. The tower loomed, 60 stories of glass and steel. A monument to Harry's vision. AI that predicted markets, optimized lives, but never questioned its master. Security buzzed me through. Morning, Mrs. W, and the executive elevator whisked me up. My gold-plated keycard glinting like a false promise. My corner office on the 40th floor was a sanctuary of screens and whiteboards. Central Valley views stretching endless. Jade was already there, her desk a fortress of dual monitors. Coding away, lattes steaming on your desk, she said, without looking up. And the quantum pitch revisions? Locked and loaded. Thanks, Jade. I stepped in, and she followed, closing the door with a click that felt too final. Her eyes, dark, urgent, held mine. We need to talk, now. I sank into my chair, the leather creaking like an old confession, and motioned for her to sit. Jade didn't. She paced once, twice, then pulled out her phone, sleek, encrypted, the kind she'd modded herself in her garage hacker days. This hit my inbox at 2 a.m., she said, voice low, like we were smuggling state secrets. From an anonymous relay, but I traced the origin. It's legit. Harry's assistant sent it to all the VPs. Midnight drop, no heads up. She slid the phone across the desk. I took it, my thumb hovering before tapping open the email. The subject line hit like fog rolling in off the bay. Restructuring directive, immediate review. I scanned it once, heart picking up speed, then read it again, slower, letting the words sink in like bad code you can't debug. Effective in 90 days. Elimination of Chief Innovation Officer role. External hire incoming. Dr. Elias Thorne. Harvard alum. Quantum AI veteran. Attached. Transition contract and performance audit summary. Elias Thorne. The name landed heavy. Harry's old squash partner from the club in Greenwich. The one who'd whisper about synergies over scotch while eyeing Whitaker Global like a hostile takeover. Quantum AI, our direct rival. The sharks who'd once tried to poach my ethical AI framework for their surveillance bots. This wasn't restructuring. This was erasure. My erasure. Who's Thorne replacing me with? I asked, though I already knew. Me, the woman who'd coded the bias detection algorithms that saved us from that FTC lawsuit 2 years back. The ones that made headlines in Wired for humanizing AI. 7 years of late nights. Of pitching to skeptical boards. Of proving a single mom from the mission could outthink Ivy League suits. Jade leaned in, her voice dropping to a whisper that carried the weight of late-night ramen sessions we'd shared when Bella had the flu and I couldn't leave. It's a setup, Emma, look at the attachment. She scrolled down, and there it was, a PDF contract. Thorne's start date circled in red digital ink. But below that, a financial summary. Transfers, $4 million a month. Siphoned to an offshore shell in the Caymans. Every first of the month. For 18 months. And the authorizing signature? Mine. A scrawled Emma Reyes Whitaker at the bottom. Looped just a touch too loose on the Y. The R tilting left like a drunkard's lean. It wasn't mine. I'd know my own hand. The steady stroke from years of signing NDAs and bedtime stories. Someone had mimicked it, close enough to fool a glance. But not a deep dive. Harry, I breathed, the name tasting like ash. He's framing me to clear the board for this merger. Jade nodded, her face tight with that quiet rage she reserved for systems that chewed people up. There's more. I Shouldn't have this. But a contact in finance owed me from that server breach last year. Bank statements, routed through dummy accounts. It's all tied to Thorn. Emails buried in the archives. Talking, phase 1 cleanup, before the ink dries on the deal. I set the phone down. My mind racing like an overclocked processor. Merger with Quantum, that would gut us. Fold our ethical core into their profit machine. Turn Whitaker Global into just another data broker selling souls for stock ticks. And Nathan? He was CC'd on the email. My husband, the man who'd promised forever over tacos in the Mission. Back when we were just two dreamers dodging rent. He knew, and said nothing, not over breakfast, not in the texts about picking up Bella from preschool. Ghosted me in my own marriage. A knock echoed, soft. But it jolted me. Jade pocketed her phone. Later, meetings in 10. I nodded, numb, and watched her go. Alone now, I pulled out Bella's drawing from my purse, that robot mom with wings. Crayons smudged like hopeful fingerprints. For mommy, to fly home fast, she'd scrawled at the bottom. 5 years old, already intuiting my absences, turning them into art. I traced the lines, feeling the pull. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the life I'd clawed for her, the one where her mom wasn't just a Whitaker by name, but by choice. The boardroom on the penthouse level was Harry's throne room. All walnut panels and screens that could summon market feeds from Tokyo to Tallinn. 23 seats filled that morning, Harry at the head, Nathan to his right like a loyal algorithm, me in my usual spot third from the left. The agenda hummed along, quarterly metrics glowing green. My AI ethics report earning nods even from the skeptics. Profits up 28%. User trust scores through the roof. My doing, mostly. Then Harry stood, buttoning his jacket with that deliberate grace, and strolled to the window. The city sprawled below, bridges threading the fog like veins. Change, he said, voice rolling out like a keynote address, isn't optional in tech, it's oxygen. His eyes flicked to me, lingering just long enough to prickle. Some of us adapt, others become legacy code. The room stirred, Marcus shifted, his marine-honed instincts picking up the undercurrent. Layoffs? He asked, direct as a drill sergeant. Evolution, Harry replied, smile tightening. Fresh perspectives. Whitaker Global needs vision that scales beyond silos. Lila from legal leaned forward, her accent threading through like silk. Profits are record high. What's lacking in vision? Harry's gaze sharpened, the kind that sees tomorrow's threats. Emma's innovations have been adequate, but adequacy doesn't conquer markets. The air thickened. If you have something to say, I thought, but held it, fingers drumming the table like code compiling. The meeting wrapped in whispers, faces etched with that corporate unease, the kind that precedes pink slips. Nathan hadn't spoken once, just scrolled his phone, avoiding the storm he'd helped brew. Back in my office, Jade was waiting, door cracked. How bad? Worse than we thought, I said, sinking down. He's telegraphing it, we move now. She nodded, pulling up her laptop. What do you need? Everything. Emails, ledgers, access logs, from the last 7 years. Shadow copies, if you have to. Her fingers flew. That's a firewall breach waiting to happen. But, yeah, for you? For Bella? Consider it done. As she dove in, I stared out at the bay. Ships dotting the water like distant hopes. Harry had built this empire on ruthless bets.com booms. AI gold rushes, but empires crack when the foundations rot. I'd learned that from him. In boardrooms and brutal feedback sessions. How to spot the glitch. Exploit the vulnerability. Now, I'd turn it back on him. That night, dinner at the penthouse was a performance. As always, Vivian, Harry's wife of 40 years, 65 and elegant as a forgotten debutante, presided over the spread of seared ahi and heirloom salads. Her smiles as measured as her martinis. Just the four of us, Harry carving his fish with surgical precision. Nathan checking emails under the table. Me forcing bites while my mind mapped escape routes. The board went well, Vivian said, eyes on me, kind but probing. She'd always been the soft edge to Harry's blade. The one who'd slip me extra wine when he wasn't looking. Productive, Harry cut in, not looking up, very. Silence stretched, broken only by forks on porcelain. Nathan finally glanced my way. Casual as fog. Lunch tomorrow? Catch up? I met his eyes, blue. Once my harbor. Board prep. Rain check. He shrugged, and something twisted in me. Love you, he'd text later, like an auto-reply, but as the plates cleared, I excused myself to the study, Harry's sanctum. Walls lined with first editions he bragged about but never cracked. The bottom drawer was locked. Always had been, but 7 years teach you keys. His spare was typed under a signed Feynman. Predictable as his golf handicap boasts. The drawer slid open with a whisper. Folders first, contracts yellowed at edges. Letters from old rivals begging mercy. Then photos, glossies of Nathan, laughing on a yacht, arm around a woman with sun-bleached hair and influencer glow. Brooke Ellis, his ex from college, the one he'd sworn was ancient history. Dates stamped a year back. Locations from Napa weekends I'd thought were work trips. The punch landed slow, deep, not surprise. Suspicion had been simmering, but the confirmation. Cold as the marble floors. We'd been a merger too. Nathan and I. Me bringing innovation. Him the Whitaker name. A ticket to stability for Bella after my messy divorce from her dad. But love? That had glitched out somewhere between board meetings and bedtime stories. Then, beneath the photos, a document, Harry's last will, fresh ink from last month. Nathan inherited it all, the company, the trusts, the fog-shrouded empire, contingent on marrying a suitable partner within 6 months of Harry's passing. Brooke's name penciled in the margins, circled like a stock pick. I snapped photos with my phone, steady hands belying the storm inside. Slid it all back, locked the drawer, replaced the key. Upstairs, Nathan's side of the bed stayed empty. He'd crashed at the club gym. I packed a go bag, essentials, Bella's favorite stuffed robot, my laptop, then texted Jade, office, now, bring coffee, and Marcus. The drive back downtown was a blur. Carlos glancing in the rearview but saying nothing, loyalty in silence. The kind Harry could never buy. The tower was a ghost at midnight. Halls echoing with cleaning carts. Jade met me in my office. Thermoses steaming, and Marcus lumbered in behind, my cousin. Broad-shouldered and scarred from Fallujah. His CFO tie loosened like a truce flag. We got a problem, I said, spreading the photos on the desk. Or 3. Marcus whistled low, flipping through. Nathan's a fool, but this? He tapped the will. Harry's playing dynasty chess, and you're the pawn he's sacrificing. Jade synced her laptop, pulling up the financials she'd scraped. It's bigger, look. The screen bloomed with emails, hundreds. Threaded like a conspiracy board. Harry to Thorne. Once Reyes as excised. Merger greenlit. Quantum folds in seamless. CC'd. Nathan. He's selling us out. Marcus growled, fists clenching. Whitaker Global to Quantum? That's not evolution. That's extinction. I leaned back, the city lights mocking me through the glass. Not if we rewrite the code. Quietly, we build a case, irrefutable. But we need more than us 3. Jade's eyes lit. I know people. Lila in legal. She's been grumbling about Harry's efficiency audits hitting her team hardest. Immigrant visa clauses buried in the fine print. And Owen? Marcus asked, skeptical. Marketing's golden boy? He's Harry's lapdog. Everyone has a leash, I said softly. We find the weak link. Over the next weeks, we moved like shadows in the fog. Lila joined first, over pho in Oakland's dim-lit joints, her story spilling out between bites. 38. Indian roots, visas chained to Whitaker since her green card days. He cut my budget last quarter. She said, eyes fierce, said, diversity hires need to prove ROI. I prove it every day in court. Owen was trickier. I cornered him in the break room. Casual over vending machine coffee. 40. Irish charm masking ambition. He'd climbed fast under Harry, ads that went viral. Campaigns that masked our data ethics slips. Heard rumors, I said lightly. Thorne coming in. Shake up? He stiffened. Just a flicker. Progress. Emma, Harry's vision. But his eyes darted, and later that night, an email pinged, anonymous. From a burner. Coffee? Off-site. 7 a.m. Know something you should. Cliffhanger bait. I showed it to Jade. He's in, or he's bait. We met in a hole in the wall in the Temescal district, mismatched chairs. Murals of Chicano heroes on the walls. The kind of place where secrets felt safe amid the hiss of espresso. Owen slid into the booth last, glancing over his shoulder. This stays here, he muttered, voice edged with something raw. Harry, he approached me months ago. Wanted me to flag irregularities in your reports. Fake flags. Emma, to justify the boot. My stomach nodded. You're his plant. Was. He corrected, rubbing his temples. I fed him scraps, nothing damning. But seeing the merger docs? Quantum's poison. They'll gut the ethics team. Turn us into surveillance state enablers. I got a sister in Oakland PD. She sees what unchecked AI does to families like yours. Like mine. Redemption's first whisper. I studied him, the lines around his eyes. Deeper than 40 should carve. Prove it, get us Thorne's side of the emails. He nodded, slow, for a price. If this blows, I'm out too. Clean slate. Done, I said, and just like that, 22 became 4, then 8, then the full shadow network. Not everyone, only the trusted. The tired of Harry's empire of exhaustion. We gathered in basements and backyards. Laptops humming over takeout burritos. Piecing the puzzle. Offshore trails leading to Harry's Cayman vaults. Forged SIGs traced to a forger in Reno. Merger clauses that would void employee stocks overnight. All the while, I played the part, smiling at family dinners where Vivian eyed me with growing concern. Fielding Nathan's texts like "miss you tonight" while Brooke's perfume lingered on his collars. Board meetings became chess, Harry probing, me parrying with metrics that masked our digging. But home? That was the real tightrope. Bella's questions came innocent, piercing. "Mommy, why's your robot job make you sad?" she'd ask. Curled in my lap after daycare. Her tiny hands tracing my phone screen where code scrolled like magic. I'd pull her close, breathing in that baby shampoo scent. "It's a big robot, Mija. Sometimes it needs fixing, but mommy's making it fly, for you." One night, after a marathon session with the team, Jade cracking an encrypted drive, Lila drafting whistleblower affidavits, I got home late. The penthouse dark except for a nightlight in Bella's room. She was asleep, thumb in mouth, her drawing taped to the bedpost, me as winged robot, Nathan as a glitchy sidekick. I sat there, tears hot, whispering promises to the dark. This fight? It was for her wings, not mine. Harry's cuts started small, surgical. My reserved parking spot? Under renovation. His memo read, "My innovation budget? Slashed 30% for reallocation." Whispers in the halls. Reyes is on thin ice. Each one documented. A paper trail to paint me incompetent. Rachel, no. Dr. Nora Chen, the forensics whiz I'd tapped through Jade's dark web contacts, met us in a nondescript tea shop in Chinatown. Far from Harry's spies. 42, ex-FBI with a stare that could decrypt lies. She sipped oolong and flipped through our files. "This is textbook white-collar Barry job," she said, accent crisp from her Beijing to Berkeley path. "Embezzlement via shells. Conspiracy for merger antitrust dodge. But the signatures? Sloppy. I can authenticate in a week, with full server access." "Risky," Marcus rumbled. "Worth it," I countered. Harry taught me. Always have the kill switch. Nora smiled, faint. "And yours?" I thought of Bella's drawing. Of the team waiting in the wings. The one that flips the board. As weeks blurred into a haze of code and caffeine, Owen's value proved gold and glass. He funneled Thorne emails, merger projections showing Quantum's plan to streamline by firing 40% of us mid-levels. But doubts crept. A late-night text from him. Harry's sniffing. "Abort?" I'd reply, "Hold," until one evening, as rain lashed the office windows, an email landed in my inbox, marked urgent, from Owen's private alias. "Emma, check attachment. It's the merger kill clause. But there's more. He's onto us." I clicked, heart slamming. The file opened. Not just clauses, but a log, Harry's log, of bribes to board allies, threats to holdouts, and at the bottom, a note, scrawled digital. "Reyes team meeting tonight? I've got ears." Cliffhanger cold. Was Owen cracking? Or cracking us open? Owen's email hung there on my screen like a glitch I couldn't patch. The rain outside drumming a frantic rhythm against the glass. Cracking us open? The words twisted in my gut. But there was no time to debug. The board meeting loomed 2 days away. Harry's evolution deadline ticking like a server overload. I forwarded it to Jade with a single line. "Vet this." Quiet, and we waited, the team on edge, passing encrypted pings in the dead hours, Marcus double-checking ledgers, Lila sharpening affidavits, Nora Chen promising her forensics report by dawn. Owen didn't crack, or if he did, it was in our favor. His reply came at 3 a.m. Attachment secure. Harry's bugged the conference room. Use the old AV closet for tomorrow's huddle. Trust the play. Inside the zip. Thorne's full merger blueprint. Redacted clauses glowing like neon warnings. Quantum wasn't just buying, they were colonizing, layoffs masked as synergies. Our AI ethics gutted for their facial recog empire. And Harry's cut? A Cayman penthouse fund, fattened by the offshore drip. Proof. Mountains of it. We huddled that next, innovation sink, in the dusty AV closet off the penthouse hall, cords tangled like conspiracies. The air thick with the hum of forgotten projectors. 22 of us crammed in, shoulder to shoulder. Coders from the basement who'd lost bonuses to Harry's efficiencies. Designers sketching diversity dashboards that got shelved. Even the quiet intern from accounting who'd caught the first forged wire. Faces from every corner of the bay, black, brown, Asian, queer, straight, all bound by the unspoken. We'd given our sweat to this machine. And it was time to unplug the tyrant. I stood on a milk crate, phone casting Norris report to their screens. This is it, I said, voice steady but laced with that raw edge. The one you get when you're fighting for more than a paycheck, for Bella's college fund. For Jade's green card dreams. For Marcus's retirement after too many tours. Harry's not evolving us. He's eviscerating. Merger with Quantum means half of you gone by summer. The ethics we built? Sold for surveillance slop. But we have the receipts, every transfer. Every fake sig. Every email where he calls us disposable variables. Murmurs rippled. Anger. Yes. But something fiercer. Resolve. Lila spoke first. Her voice a quiet thunder. I've seen this in Mumbai boardrooms, old men hoarding power till the young ones burn it down. I'm in. For my daughter back home. Waiting for my remittances. Owen hung at the back. Shadows playing on his face. When eyes turned his way. He stepped forward, hands up like surrender. I was his. Fed him fluff to stay afloat, bills piling. Ex-wife lawyered up. But this? He nodded at the screen. It's poison. Last week, he asked me to plant a virus in Emma's drive. I couldn't, not after seeing what we've built here. Real AI, not this dystopian crap. The room exhaled. Trust. Fragile as fresh code. Knit us tighter. Jade handed out burners, tiny. Untraceable. We walk tomorrow. Not in chaos. In sync. When Harry drops the axe. We rise. USB stays with me. Norris authenticated. FBI forwarded by noon if it hits the fan. I met their eyes. One by one. The weight of 22 lives pressing like a hug you didn't know you needed. This isn't just a walkout. I whispered, the words catching warm in my throat. It's a rewrite. For all of us. Sleep that night was a ghost. Fitful dreams of Bella's robot wings tangled in Harry's contracts. I woke at 4:30. The penthouse silent as a shutdown server. Nathan stirred beside me for once. Mumbling about a big pitch. But his phone buzzed with a text I glimpsed. Napa tonight? Miss our talks. B. Brooke. I slipped out, showered cold to sharpen my edges. Chose my armor. Not the charcoal dress Harry favored, but my power suit, the deep navy one from the Tokyo clothes. Lined with silk from my abuela's old sari. A quiet nod to roots he'd never understand. Bella was up early, her curls a wild halo in the dawn light. Rosa had her at the breakfast bar. Pancakes bubbling. Mommy, she squealed, waving her fork like a wand. I dreamed you flew us to the bridge, in your robot suit. I scooped her up, breathing her in, pancake sweet. Little girl magic. Soon. Mija, mommy's got a flight today. A big one. I kissed her forehead, lingering. Be good for Rosa. Draw me another wing tonight? She nodded solemn, then grinned, with lasers, to zap bad robots. If only. The drive to the tower felt eternal. Every red light a pause to text the team. Position set? Greens lit my screen. 22 thumbs up. A chain of quiet rebellion. Carlos dropped me at the curb. His eyes in the mirror holding mine. Strong winds today. Mrs. R. Fly safe. Always, I said, and meant it. The elevator ascended like judgment. Floors blurring to 60. My office waited pristine. Jade had boxed my things discreetly. A ghost of goodbye. She met me at the door. Coffee in hand. Her smile fierce. All in place. Lila's got the legal fallback. Marcus the financials. Norris on standby. FBI ping sent conditional. I hugged her quick. Fierce. Whatever happens, thank you. For seeing me. All of me. She pulled back. Eyes soft. Family's not blood. Emma, it's code we write together. Then, lighter. Go get your wings. The hallway to the boardroom stretched long. Each step measured, heels clicking like a countdown. Voices leaked through the oak doors, Harry's laugh. Booming. Thorne's clipped East Coast drawl joining in. Nathan's murmur. Low and loyal. I pushed in. The hinges sighing. 25 faces turned. Harry mid-sentence at the head. Thorne beside him like a shadow merger. Nathan scrolling oblivious. My team filled the flanks. Faces schooled neutral but eyes alight. Emma, Harry said, gesturing to a seat at the far end. Exiled from my usual perch. Fashionably on time. I'm never late, I replied, smooth as I took the chair. The wood cool under my palms. Let him think me cornered. He launched in, projector humming to life behind him. Whitaker Global, my life's code. 40 years compiling from basic to blockchain. But code ages, needs refactor, slides flipped, org charts redrawn. My box grayed out, Chief Innovation Officer, eliminated. Effective now, Dr. Thorne assumes oversight. Silence crashed, thick as fog. Thorne nodded, smug, excited to streamline. Streamline, Marcus echoed, voice flat, but no one moved, not yet. Harry pressed on, clicking to evidence, screenshots of transfers. My forged SIG glaring, misconduct, embezzlement, IP leaks to competitors. Emma, you've betrayed the trust. Security escorts you. No severance, contract voided on gross breach. The words hung, venomous. Betrayed? From the man bleeding the company dry. I rose slow, deliberate, heart thundering but voice even. Trust. Funny word from you, Harry. His eyes narrowed, that Tycoon gleam flickering. Speak your piece, then go. I looked around, not at him. At them. 22 anchors in the storm. You taught me everything, I said, soft but carrying, like a virus slipping firewalls. How to read the fine print. Spot the back door. Turn leverage into legacy. But you forgot the user error. People. Marcus stood first, broad, unyielding, his chair scraping like a gauntlet thrown. Lila next, poised as a closing argument. One by one, they rose, Jade with fire. The intern with wide-eyed grit. Faces I'd coded beside in marathons now forming a human firewall. 22, walking not to me, but past the table, past Thorne's confusion, past Nathan's paling stare, toward the door. Harry's face fractured, smile gone. Voice rising sharp. What is this? Sit down. Meeting's not adjourned. No one answered. The procession steady. A silent march of code breaking free. Thorne shifted. Uneasy. Harry? Your team. Thorne's words choked as Jade paused at Harry's desk. The last in line. She set the USB down gentle. Like planting a seed. What's this? Harry snatched it. Knuckles white. Jade's smile was mercy wrapped in steel. Everything. The shells. The SIGs. The merger that guts us for your yacht fund. The door sealed behind her. Silence roared. Just us four now. Harry. Thorne. Nathan. Me. Harry's hand shook as he jammed the drive into the port, screen blooming with horrors. Emails unredacted. Ledgers bleeding red. Norris Forensics watermark gleaming. Authenticated. FBI receipt hashtag SF4782. His color drained. Bourbon voice cracking. This is fabricated. Lies. Real as the bridge out there. I said, calm washing over me like Bella's hug. And in 5, FBI's downstairs. Nora doesn't miss deadlines. You hired Chen? The name hit him like a subpoena, his old FBI foe from a 90s probe he'd lawyered out of. I hired who I needed. Thorne edged for the door. Sweat beading. Harry, I had no. Sit, I snapped, and he froze. Your emails too, Elias. The cleanup, bribes. Quantum's antitrust dodge. Nathan finally shattered his silence. Voice boyish, breaking. Emma, what have you done? This destroys everything, us. Bella. Us? I turned, the word a quiet knife. There was no us, Nathan, just a merger that glitched. You chose this yacht girl over family. Over her. I nodded to the door, where 22 waited. But Bella? She's why I fight, why we all did. Harry slammed the table, fist like thunder. You think you've won? I have senators, boards, lawyers that'll bury this deeper than your little rebellion. With what? I stepped closer, voice dropping warm, almost kind. Assets freeze on embezzlement. Witnesses? Those 22 months of logs, affidavits, your legacy. Harry, it's legacy code now. His phone trilled, shrill. Insistent. He glanced. Unknown, DOJ. Answered, listened, face crumbling to ruin. Hung up. FBI, in the lobby. Early bird, I murmured. Norris Thorough. You've killed my company, he whispered, deflating, the Tycoon mask slipping to reveal the man, 68. Hollow. No, I said gently, picking up my box. I saved it. Clean code, new admins, to Thorn. Run while you can. He bolted, door banging. Nathan reached, desperate. Emma, please. The papers, sign. Let's fix. I took the divorce sheaf from Harry's trembling hand. His Mont Blanc pen heavy as judgment. Signed with a flourish, Emma Reyes. My name alone. Free. Fixed. Tell Brooke hi. Though scandals sour Napa weekends. The elevator down was flight, air rushing. Heart soaring. Lobby chaos. Suits in windbreakers. Nora Chen briefing badges. Her nod to me crisp as code. Outside, under the drizzle, they waited, 22. Rain slicked but unbreakable. Jade pulled me in, arms wrapping the group. We did it. No, I breathed. Bella's drawing crinkling in my pocket. We just debugged the start. The drizzle had picked up as we spilled out onto the plaza. 22 of us huddling under the tower's awning like survivors from a storm we'd summoned ourselves. Sirens wailed distant at first, then closer, cutting through the midday fog. FBI vans sliding to the curb. Agents spilling out with the efficiency of a well-tested algorithm. Nora Chen stood at the edge of the fray, her tablet glowing as she coordinated, glancing our way with a nod that said solid work. Jade squeezed my arm, her voice a warm thread in the chaos. Look, your phone's lighting up. It was. Notifications pinging like fireworks, Reuters, TechCrunch, even a CNN alert buzzing through. Breaking. Whitaker Global tycoon Harrison Whitaker detained on embezzlement charges, merger plot exposed by insiders. The headline splashed across my screen. Harry's stern face pixelated in mugshot preview. His empire's logo cracked like the wine glass from that morning's dream. 22 executives implicated? No, heroes. The subhead read, crediting our walkout as the catalyst for corporate reckoning. Comments were already flooding. About time Silicon Valley pays up. Single mom CEO next? Sign me up. I laughed, soft and disbelieving, the sound bubbling up from somewhere deep, where Bella's crayons had colored over the cracks. We just debugged the start, I'd said, but this was the reboot. Marcus clapped shoulders around the circle. His marine bark softened to a grin. Drinks on me, somewhere without walnut floors. Lila wiped rain from her glasses, smiling that quiet victory smile. For my daughter, for all our daughters. Owen lingered at the edge, hands shoved deep in his pockets, face still pale from the twist he'd pulled in that room. I didn't think I'd make it out the other side, he admitted, voice low, meeting my eyes for the first time without that climber's sheen. Thanks for the second compile. Redemption's the best bug fix, I replied, pulling him into the huddle. No grudges in code worth keeping. We were family now, forged in the firewall. Nathan found me there, bursting through the lobby doors like a glitch refusing to crash, rain-soaked shirt clinging. Eyes wild with that boyish panic I'd once mistaken for passion. Agents brushed past him, ignoring the pleas he threw their way. Emma, wait, please. He grabbed my elbow, gentle but desperate, the divorce papers crumpled in his other fist like a failed printout. This is insane. Dad's lawyers are already filing injunctions. We can spin it, say it was a misunderstanding. Internal audit gone wrong. For Bella, think of her. She needs stability, not this circus. I turned slow, the rain pattering on my suit like tears I wouldn't shed. His face, 35 going on lost. The Whitaker polish chipped, tugged at old strings. But they snapped easy now. Stability? I echoed, voice warm but firm, like wrapping a wound you knew would scar. The kind where her mom's a placeholder in your dynasty? Or where dad's bribes fund her preschool tuition? No, Nathan, Bella needs truth, wings, not weights. His shoulders sagged, the fight flickering out. I messed up. Brooke was nothing, a distraction, but we built something here. 5 years, doesn't that count? It counted, I said softly, stepping back, the circle of 22 closing gentle behind me. Until it didn't. Sign the papers yourself, and tell Brooke the Napa view's better from the other side of the scandal. He stood there as I walked away. the drizzle swallowing his whisper of "I'm sorry." But apologies are cheap code, easy to run, hard to debug. The board called that afternoon. From their emergency huddle in a neutral hotel conference room downtown, far from the tower's tainted air. Thomas Hale, no relation, just a gray-haired chairman with a voice like aged oak, patched me in on a secure line. The 22 listening on speaker in a nearby diner. Forks pausing mid-bite. "Miss Reyes," he started, formal but frayed. "The allegations, they're ironclad. FBI's sealing assets as we speak. Harry's out. Thorne's vanished to whatever rock he crawled from." I sipped coffee, black, steaming. The diner's hum a grounding buzz. "And the company?" A pause. Papers rustling. "We need leadership. Trusted. Immediate. Interim CEO, you. Full board vote. Unanimous. Your terms. Within reason." My breath caught. Warm and real. The weight of it settling like a hug from Abuela. Long gone but always whispering to Puedes. "My team," I said, no hesitation. "All 22. Positions they deserve. Marcus as EVP Finance. Lila General Counsel. Jade Head of Security Ops. Owen leading integration, no probation. No cuts." "Done," Hale replied, swift. "And autonomy? Clean slate on the merger, scrap quantum. Refocus on ethics." "Agreed." "One more. Illicit gains, Harry's shells, route back to employee equity pools. No golden parachutes for ghosts." He chuckled dry. "FBI territory. But we'll push. Welcome aboard, Emma, officially." The line clicked dead, and the diner erupted, cheers muffled by napkins. Jade whooping as she texted the group. 22 toasts with greasy mugs, to wings, to rewrites, to the family we'd chosen over blood. But the real anchor waited at home. Rosa met me at the penthouse door, temporary now. With eviction whispers already lawyered, but Bella barreled past her, launching into my arms with a squeal that melted the last fog. "Mommy," Rosa said, "big robots today, did you fly?" I swung her up, her laughter bubbling against my neck. Tiny arms locking tight, the box of my things thudded forgotten by the door. "The biggest flight, mija, Mommy fixed the bad code. And guess what? Now we build new ones. Just us girls." We tumbled to the rug, her crayons spilling like confetti. "With lasers?" she asked, eyes wide, tracing my face with a pudgy finger. "Lasers and ethics," I promised, voice thick, pulling her close, "so no one gets zapped unfair. Mommy's your superhero now, no cape. But wings for both of us." She hugged fierce, whispering secrets into my hair. I knew, "Mommy, your drawing had wings already." That night, as Bella dreamed robot dreams, a knock echoed, soft, unexpected. Rosa let in Vivian, Harry's wife, her coat dripping from the rain, face lined deeper than I'd remembered. 65, but carrying it like a map of quiet rebellions. She held an envelope, cream stock, her handwriting elegant on the front. "Emma Reyes, for the future." "I won't stay," she said, voice a murmur over the kitchen island. Wine untouched between us, but I knew, from the first offshore ping, months back, Harry, he built walls, not homes, thought loyalty was a transaction. I stayed silent too long. For peace, for Nathan. I opened the envelope, deed to a cottage in Sausalito. Waterfront, modest by Whitaker standards but ocean view real. And a letter, brief. I knew all along. The ledgers, the girl in Napa, chose silence once, not twice. "This is yours," clean title. No strings. Build what he couldn't. A legacy of light. And tell Bella her abuela Vivian sends robot stories. Choose you, dear, always. Tears pricked. Warm. Why now? She touched my hand, frail but steady. "Because I see wings in you. The ones I clipped in myself." A pause. Eyes distant. "Divorce papers filed this morning. 40 years. Glitchy code from the start." We hugged then, awkward. Then real. And she slipped out into the night, leaving the envelope like a bridge I'd never burned. News cycled hot for weeks. Harry indicted. 12 years minimum on wire fraud and conspiracy. His Greenwich Club memberships revoked like bad code. Quantum crumbled under DOJ scrutiny. Their stock tanking as my ethics report went viral. TED Talk invites pinging my new Whitaker email. The tower stabilized, servers humming cleaner. Our AI pivoting to privacy-first tools that drew talent like fog to the bridge. Promotions rolled smooth. Marcus barking orders from the C-suite. His first memo on veteran hiring initiatives, earning board applause. Lila shredded the old contracts, rewriting with equity clauses for immigrants like her. Jade's security suite locked down leaks. Her green card fast-tracked by grateful feds. Even Owen found his groove, rebranding campaigns around human-first AI. His sister's PD stories fueling ads that tugged heartstrings. Me, CEO Emma Reyes, 32. Single mom, no hyphen Whitaker. The corner office felt less like a cage now, more like a cockpit. Bella's drawings pinned to the whiteboard amid white papers. Mornings started with her backpack zipped. Have a laser day, mommy. Echoing as Carlos, now our driver, whisked her to a preschool with actual recess. Not Mandarin tutors. One evening, as stock ticked up 15% on our ethics launch, Nathan texted, "Can I see her?" "Just talk." I stared at the screen. Bella giggling over takeout tacos in the cottage, our new nest. Waves lapping outside like applause. Replied, "Soon, but on her terms, ours." He showed a week later. Humbled in khakis from a temp gig at a startup in Oakland, data entry. No empire. Bella sized him up over crayons. Polite but distant. "You the glitchy robot?" she asked. Blunt as code. He laughed. "Broken. Yeah, kiddo. Working on the patch." We talked after. Her napping. "I get it now," he said, voice soft by the window. "Power's not the suit. It's this." He nodded to her sketchbook. "I'm sorry. For the merger. For us." "Forgiven," I said, warm but final, but rewritten. Co-parent, not co-CEO. He left lighter, and I felt it too, the code compiling clean. Harry's trial dragged summer into fall. Headlines fading to footnotes. 12 years. The judge ruled, conspiracy to defraud, plus restitution that stripped his shells bare. Vivian visited once, post-sentencing, her new bob haircut framing a face unlined by secrets. He still doesn't see it. She confided over tea in the cottage. Bella, interviewing her about robot grandmas, thinks it was luck. Your luck. I smiled, stirring honey slow. Luck's just prepared code meeting opportunity. He taught the prep, you taught the heart. She left with Bella's drawing clutched tight. A bridge mended in crayon strokes. As autumn fog rolled in, Whitaker Global, no, our global, hit stride. Stock doubled on the ethics pivot. Partnerships blooming with NGOs. Our AI now shielding data for underbanked families like the one I'd grown up in. The board made my CEO gig permanent. No, interim, asterisk. 22 became the core, promoted, protected, the heart of every quarterly glow up. But the real win? Evenings like this, Bella and me on the deck. Waves whispering, her head on my shoulder as stars pricked the sky. "Mommy," she'd murmur, sleepy, "did the bad robots go away?" "All gone, Mija," I'd whisper back, wings unfurling in the quiet. "Now we build the good ones. Together." 2 years slipped by like fog burning off the bay. Gentle and inevitable, turning Whitaker Global from a glitchy giant into something sleek, alive. A company where AI didn't just predict, but protected. Stock had tripled on the ethics surge. Our tools now shielding data for immigrant startups in the mission. For single moms coding side hustles in Oakland basements. Headlines called it the Reyes Renaissance. But I just called it home. 34 now, with laugh lines earned from boardroom battles and Bella's bedtime giggles. I stood in that penthouse boardroom, not Harry's throne anymore, but ours. Floor-to-ceiling glass framed the Golden Gate. Bridges linking horizons like the hands we'd clasped in that diner 2 years back. 22 faces ringed the table. Familiar as family photos. Marcus at my right. His tie still loose but his reports razor sharp. Jade, head of ops, her screens casting a glow on the diversity dashboard she'd coded from scratch. Lila, general counsel, her latest win, a class action shield for gig workers, framed on the wall. Owen, redemption etched in his steady gaze. Led marketing now, his campaigns weaving stories of real lives into viral threads. Even the intern from that AV closet huddle had climbed to junior dev. Her first app lived in our privacy suite. We weren't just survivors, we were the code, diverse, debugged, unbreakable. I raised my glass, sparkling cider for the table. No bourbon ghosts here, the clink echoing soft. 2 years ago, I said, voice warm, pulling them in like a story around the fire. We stood in a room like this. Harry dropped the axe, thinking fear would compile us quiet. But we chose different. We walked, not away. but towards something truer. Integrity over the easy payout. Truth over the throne. Justice over the safe seat. Nods rippled, smiles breaking like dawn. Marcus leaned back, his laugh rumbling low. Hell, I thought we'd end up slinging tacos in the tenderloin. Best decision I never regretted. Lila touched her glass to mine, eyes shining. For the visas we rewrote. For the daughters who'll code without chains. And the sons who'll listen. Owen added, quieter, his arc a quiet testament, no spotlight. Just steady. We drank then, the cider tart and bright. Sealing the moment. Profits up 200%. Morale charts off the scale. RAI now a verb in TED circles. Reyes it, to humanize the machine. But the real metric? Bella's world. Preschool to kindergarten in a heartbeat. Her drawings evolving from winged robots to full ecosystems. Ethics woven in crayon lines. Nathan co-parented steady now, weekends at the cottage. Teaching her basic loops on his old laptop. No mergers in sight. He'd found footing in a nonprofit. Auditing for good. His texts simple. Proud of her. Of you. The door swung open mid-toast. My new assistant, sharp. 20-something. With that fresh out of Stanford fire, peeking in. Miss Reyes? Visitor. Says it's personal. I set my glass down. The room hushing curious. Who? She glanced at her tablet. Nathan Whitaker. Alone. A beat. Then murmurs, supportive, not shocked. 2 years had softened edges, apologies. When real. Stuck. Send him in, I said, and the team rose casual. Filing out with waves and whispers. Handle it your way. Jade lingered last, squeezing my shoulder. Wings or walls? Boss. You choose. Nathan stepped in, older in the good way, 37. Lines from real work, khakis rumpled from the BART ride over. No suit, no swagger. He stopped at the table's edge, hands loose at his sides, eyes tracing the room like memories. Emma, it's something. The view's the same, but everything else. Feels like flying? I finished, soft, gesturing to the chair across. No venom left, just the warmth of closure. He sat, folding his hands. I came to say, fully this time. Sorry doesn't compile anymore. For the affair, the silence, standing by while Dad torched what we could have been. For Bella, missing her first code lines. Thinking mergers mattered more than mornings. The words landed gentle, no twist left to pull, just truth. Delayed but debugged. I nodded slow, letting it settle. Why now? 2 years in. He glanced out, the bridge winking in afternoon light. Watched from the sidelines. Your launches. The Walkout docu-series that dropped last month, hell. Even my coffee shop plays it on loop. Saw what real leadership looks like. Not power. Partnership. I was glitchy code. Emma, you patched the system. I just want to thank you. For choosing better. For us all. Silence bloomed. Comfortable. You're welcome, I said, voice warm as the cider's aftertaste. And Nathan? Keep patching. Bella needs uncles who fly straight. He smiled, real, cracked but whole, and rose. At the door, he paused, turning back. That morning in the boardroom, you knew. Didn't you? The walkout, the USB, all of it. I leaned against the table. The wood solid under my palms. Knew the how, because I knew his weakness. Thinking fear outran loyalty. He bet on transactions. We bet on us. He nodded, door clicking soft behind him. The room exhaled, empty now but full of echo. The 22's laughter drifting from the hall. Planning our Napa unwind. I walked to the window. Fog lifting to reveal the city sprawling endless. Bridges linking what once divided. 2 years ago, I'd stood here while Harry tried to compile me out. Now, CEO, mom, architect of clean code. The best revenge? Not the fall. Living well, building better, proving the glitch wrong, one ethical line at a time. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Crisp. Harrison Whitaker appeal denied. Full sentence served. I showed it to the empty room. A quiet finally, but as the team filtered back, glasses refilling, I pocketed it. No more ghosts. That night, in the cottage with waves as lullaby, Bella curled close, her latest sketch between us, a boardroom of robots, all holding hands. We did it, mommy, she murmured, sleepy wise. The good code. Yes, Mija, I whispered, kissing her curls. Together. And in the quiet, as stars pricked the dark, I thought of that red wine glass, shattered on walnut. But not broken, just the start of something real. Honest, human. Because here's the truth, Whispered slow like a secret over the bay. Loyalty isn't blood or boardrooms. It's the choice you make when the code crashes, walk out. Or rewrite the world. And in that rewrite, wings for everyone. What about you? Listening in tonight? Ever faced a glitch like Harry's? Drop it in the comments. We're all compiling stories here. And if this hit home, subscribe for more. Next up, Betrayal in the Hollywood Hills, where scripts flip and spotlights burn. Until then, fly true. The red wine glass hit the walnut floor with a sharp crack, like a heart finally giving way. But this time, it was Bella's clumsy toast at dinner. Cider fizzing everywhere. We laughed, deep, belly laughs that echoed warmer than any boardroom clink. Oops, she giggled, and I pulled her close. Shards glinting like stars we'd sweep together. Perfect, I thought. Broken to be rebuilt, just like us.